Welcome to Rex Arthur TV. This is the Rex Arthur Show, where we discuss LGBTQ issues with an LGBTQ perspective and an LGBTQ approach and a humanistic approach in an LGBTQ plus planet where each and every one of us belongs to one letter in the sexual alphabet, LGBTQIAAP, the 10 sexual alphabet. And today we are going to look at the Quigley scale. This is a very important scale that is used to compare genitalia of human beings. And contrary to human belief, genitalia, there's diversity of genitalia. You know, when people hear that animals are male and female, they think all male animals have penises and all female animals have vaginas. That's not true. Femininity is diverse. Masculinity is diverse. So what does that mean? Genitalia is not necessarily the only way to determine sexuality of a life form. You know, like even the planets. Don't you know the planets have sexuality? And like Venus is considered a female planet, and Earth is considered a female planet. But where did these qualities of sexuality come about from? Where have you seen the penis of the Earth or the vagina of the Earth? So it's just human knowledge that can be diversified and that can be shaped. You know, it's theology. It's the theology, stupid. You know, as Bill Clinton said about the economy. For us, we say it is the philosophy, stupid. It's the theology, stupid. Because you can have diverse theologies, have diverse explanations of the world. Diverse philosophies have diverse explanations of the world. Yes, some people can say the earth is a man. Others can say the Venus is a man. I mean, what are you going to say? Because so it depends on the philosophy you have accepted. Now, the Quigley scale is a descriptive visual system of phenotypic grading that uses 7 classes between fully masculinized and fully feminized genitalia. Now, what you need to understand about human genitalia is that there is a fully masculinization and full feminization of the same. Now, and what do we mean? That there are basically two different types of sexual identities: the masculine identity and the feminine identity. So that's a given. However, what I like this thing about, it's not a Quigley bifurcation, but it's a Quigley scale, meaning grades. And this is a very important thing you need to understand about life. And about life, yes, exactly. Life is spectral. It is not bifurcated. That's why light has diverse spectrums. The rainbow is spectral. Light is spectral. And sound is spectral. Every energy, every matter, all energy is spectral. Electricity is spectral. You know, electricity is energy. Wind is spectral. There are soft winds, there are weak winds, there are hot winds, there are cold winds, there are hurricanes, there are typhoons, there are tornadoes. All of those is a spectral movement of air. And even sexuality is spectral. That's why we cannot say that you're either a man or a woman, full stop. No. I used to like what one pastor used to say that we are good evening, gentlemen and ladies, and those who are in between, those ones who do not know whether they're gentlemen or ladies, because that is how life is. Some people are not fully masculine and others are not fully feminine. And this is what the Quigley scale is doing. So Chamian A. Quigley and others in 1995 proposed the scale. It is similar function to the Prada scale and is used to describe genitalia in cases of androgen insensitivity syndrome, including complete androgen insensitivity syndrome, partial androgen insensitivity syndrome, and mild androgen insensitivity syndrome. So I wanted us to look at this and then we are done with the video. Look at that. That's a beautiful scale. So you see, number 1 is the full masculinized genitalia. Number 2 is less, the masculinity is reducing. And you see how it reduces? The penis or the phallus becomes very small. And then number 3, the phallus is small. So what is decreasing in length as you go to the right is the length of the phallus. And that is number 3. And then number 4, this one does not, we do not even know. Okay, I know what's happening here. In this one, the glans is the head of the penis. It now becomes, it's a clitoris, but it's a very big clitoris and very wide. And then number 5, the clitoris now is so small, and then you have the aperture or the opening of the vagina. Here you see the opening of the vagina at number 4 is very small, and then here at 6 or 7 the vagina is fully opened, and not rather fully open. Those are the labia, and then you have the clitoris is hidden at the top there. It's not so big compared to number 4, where the glans. So this is how humans we develop. The penis, the phallus, is a very big clitoris. That's what you need to know. That's the eureka moment there. You should be shouting hallelujah, eureka. Yes. So the penis is a very large, the phallus is a large clitoris that has, and the urethra goes through the phallus. Then as the phallus becomes smaller, it then becomes a clitoris. And then the labia, you see the labia, there are 2 lips on 6 and 7. Now the 2 lips are actually the 2 balls that men have, full men have. And even this scale is still needs some help. We'll check the other one if Prada is better, because there are some men who have 1 ball. Yes, just one ball, and it's a condition, so it's beautiful. Okay, so this is staging 1 through 6 are differentiated by genital masculinization, and Quigley describes the scale as 1 depicting severity or defective masculinization. Grade 1 is indicated when the external genitalia is fully masculinized and corresponds to mild androgen insensitivity syndrome. Grades 6 and 7 are indicated when the external genitalia is fully feminized, corresponding to complete androgen insensitivity syndrome. So it's the number 1 is not so against androgen. And it's very interesting. That's why a man is called Andrew. The name Andrew means manly. And that means a lot of androgen. So mild androgen belongs to number 1, but no androgen belongs to number 7, where it is the vagina, and no penis or sign of the penis. But the sign, of course, the penis becomes the clitoris completely and cannot even release any fluid in terms like semen, because the glans is now become the clitoris. Beautiful science and art. You know, I was telling somebody that sex is art. Yes, even the body is art. Yes. That's why I tell people, love whomever you want to love. You love men, you love sexy men, men with nice body parts. Yes. There is nothing wrong in liking a man who is has a sexy body. You know, I just look at, and I think sometimes I think some people are jealous that you like a man's body, especially some women who want to be liked. Yes, it's competition. Competition. So you find women also want to get muscles because men who have muscles are liked by men, and both men and women who like men with muscles. You see? So that's the competition that's part of life. That's why America is like that. You see, America, they go to the gym, they keep their body fit. It's because body, especially homosexuality, is a very physical, sexual orientation, because sex is the main goal in homosexuality. Heterosexuality, most of the times, the main goal is reproduction, having children. That is the goal in heterosexuality. It's not necessarily to have pleasurable sex. It's not necessarily to have erotic sex. But homosexuality is primarily is for erotic sex, for pleasurable sex. And so because of that, sex is very physical. So the body is very important. That's why body shaming is very high in the gay community than in the straight community, because people have sex because of their body, not because they're going to have children. They won't. So the body is very important, and that's why polyamory is very high in the gay community. It's because sex is about the body, it's not about having children. There is less polyamory in the straight world because the goal in most straight couples, heterosexual couples, is to have children. So that's what you need to understand. All right, so grade 2 to 5, 4 degrees, decreasingly, they decrease in masculinity and as they increase in femininity. And grade 7 is indistinguishable from grade 6 until puberty, and is differentiated by the presence of secondary terminal hair. Grade 6 is indicated when secondary terminal hair is present, whereas grade 7 is indicated when it is absent. Of course, there are controversies. As I said, even me, I have my issues. It doesn't really look that perfect. Similarly, an Australian Senate committee report on involuntary sterilization determined that research regarding adequate or normal genitals, particularly for women, raises some disturbing questions, including preferences influenced by doctors' specialism and gender. And recommended a review of medical classification that pathologizes variations in sex characteristics. This is very true. Basically, what I think I can criticize Quigley for is that the scale is, the degrees are not necessarily 7. This could be just major phases or major stages in the scale. But realistically speaking, they could even be 20. Because as I've told you, there are men who have one ball. Where are they? They are not, it's not covered here. You know. That's what you need to understand. Look at this. Number 4 is the most beautiful, I think, for me. Because this one has a clit. The glans has disappeared. The only thing appearing is the head of the penis. But the balls are still there. It's unbelievable. And then, meanwhile, the hole there's a creation of the small aperture. It's unbelievable. So you find some men are born like that. And then some men are at number 3. And then many are at number 2. And most men are in number 1. That's what you need to understand. It's so we are not the same. Okay, let's finish with the other scale. I want to see Prada's scale. It's a coarse rating system for the measurement or degree of virilization of the genitalia of the human body and is similar to the Quigley scale. It primarily relates to virilization of the female genitalia in cases of congenital adrenal hyperplasia and identifies 5 distinct stages, but in recent times has been used to describe the range of differentiation of genitalia, with normal infant being shown on either scale, female left or male on the right 6. So I agree. You see, there's differences of genitalia. Not everybody has that. We don't have the same genitals. That's what you need to know. And it's very important. It means we are sexually different. That's why we are all unique. So don't come and generalize people here. So at infant stage 0 means having normal female external genitalia. Then stage 1 means having a mildly large clitoris and slightly reduced vaginal opening size. So these women may have very small vagina. The opening, the hole is not so big compared to the at 0, but they have a very large clitoris. Then stage 2, the genitalia obviously are not abnormal to the eye, with a phallus intermediate in size and a small vaginal opening with a separate urethral opening. So this one in stage 2 has both a phallus, a vagina with a separate urethral opening. Very, very beautiful. Stage 3 shows a further enlarged phallus with a single urogenital sinus and almost complete fusion of the labia. So the vagina is now fused together, the labia, the 2 lips of the vagina, and then now there's a big penis. And stage 4 looks more male than female, with an empty scrotum and a phallus the size of a normal penis, but not quite free of the perineum to be pulled onto the abdomen toward the umbilicus. So here there's an empty scrotum with a normal penis. Then stage 5 is with a normally formed penis with a urethral opening at or near the tip. The scrotum is normally formed but empty. The internal pelvic organs normally include ovaries and uterus, and vagina connects internally with the urethra as in stage 4. These infants are not visibly ambiguous, as usually assumed to be ordinary boys with undescended testes. In most cases, the diagnosis of CH is not suspected until signs of salt wasting develop a week later. And stage 6 is a normal male presentation with no hypospadias present and normal testes. So the testes have descended and they're normal. That's stage 6. That's a full man. Yes, so you have to understand that. While the scale has been defined as a grading system for abnormal genitalia, the concept that atypical genitals are necessarily abnormal is contested. Yes, that's a good point. It's not that, I don't know, what does it mean when your genitals are not typical? Does it mean you are abnormal? And this is what this Swiss National Advisory Center was saying, that advises that not infrequently variations from sex norms may not be pathological or require medical treatment. Yeah, so they're trying to say not every sexual differentization that is unique may need treatment. It may not need treatment. Similarly, Australia and the Senate Committee talked about, of course, we've read this, that some women, they were complaining about involuntary sterilization, that saying that women who don't have, because there's some women who don't have normal genitals, or the ones good enough for giving birth, and that's what now Australia is complaining about, that can lead to involuntary sterilization of those women. Okay, so related concepts, numerous clinical scales and measurement systems exist to define genitals as normal male or abnormal, including the oxidometer and phallometer, the satirical phallometer. Let's look at the satirical one. It is a satirical measure that critiques the medical standards for normal and female phalluses. I like that. Female phallus. There you are. So even women have phalluses. And this is the representation. And this is a woman's, this is her size. It's a girl, so hers is under a third of an inch. Then unacceptable surgery from here, this is X. Then it's a boy, over 1 inch. So from over 1 inch, if a girl, now if you have a girl whose hers reaches at X, it is mean she has passed 3/8. So that's the phallometer. And history, it was developed by Kira Tier, and based on a concept of a psychologist called Susan Kessler. Okay, I didn't expect to see this, that's why I'm not going to read it that deeply. Let's go to oxidometer. Now this is oxidometer. It's a medical instrument to measure the volume of the testicles. And there you have it, 21, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, 12, 15, 20, 25. So they measure men's testicles, or the male testicles. And look at I like this. Doctors sometimes informally refer to them as Prada's balls, or the medical worry beads. I like this, the endocrine rosary. This is beautiful. I like that one. So yes, you can find some people have testicles that small and others have very big, and this is wonderful. Yeah, I'm happy to see this oxidometer. And it helps. Small testes can indicate either primary or secondary hypogonadism and testicular size, precocious puberty, and all of these other things. Large testes, macrochodism, can be a clue to one of the most common causes of inherited generalized learning disability, or the Fragile X syndrome. Look at that. You see, this is a very important one. Let's look at Fragile X syndrome. It's a symptom that has intellectual disability. The average IQ in males is under 55. Physical features may include a long, narrow face, large ears, flexible fingers, and large testicles. Yeah, so you can see, look at this child, he has it. You know, you can't attack him. You can't say he's worthless. He's a human being, and we are very happy he was born, because we now understand Fragile X syndrome thanks to him. And you see, they have autism and they go through seizures, and it's noticeable at age 2, and it's lifelong, and it's caused X-linked dominant. You see, 1 in 4,000 males and 1 in 8,000 females. It's an X-linked dominant pattern. So next time we're going to do, you know, we're doing a lot of science this year. So we're going to study about the diseases that are caused by complications in the X chromosome, and diseases that are caused because of complications in the Y chromosome. Now, why is all of this important? All of this is important because it tells us something, that sexuality, you cannot attack sexual feelings of human beings when their genitalia is also very diverse. And this diversification in the genitalia could be a very important indicator about the sexuality of a person, whether someone is bisexual, homosexual, queer, transgender. Yes, it's very important to see that this diversification in genitalia is proof that you cannot attack somebody because of their sexuality, and you cannot attack somebody for his sexual preference, that I want to be with men, I want to be with women, I want to be with both men and women, I want to be alone. You know, there's some people who are sexual, and you'll find that the reason they are sexual is because their sexual infrastructure is unique, because asexuality means low sex drive, and sex drive is very natural. Yes, there are some trees which are big because they have a high drive, you know. Others have a low drive and they are not big trees. So that's what you need to understand about sex drive. Some people are so sexy, they are so sexual, and others are not. And one of the reasons could be physiological. You see, we are all walking specimen for study, every one of us. And that's why you cannot attack anybody because of their sexual preference and their sexual identity. It is wrong, and this is why we are supporting the decriminalization of homosexuality, and let homosexuals be, because they are like that for natural reasons. It has been proven by science. Nobody is a homosexual because he wants to be a bad person. That is a lie. Because whether you can want to be a bad person, but if you can't be engaged in homosexuality, then you are not a homosexual. It's simple as that. So you cannot criminalize someone for his nature. You see, that's why we're very happy with India, and we're very happy with the countries that are gradually decriminalizing homosexuality and any other sexual differentiation. We are even grateful to the World Health Organization for showing us that transgenderism is not a mental disease, neither is homosexuality. So thank you for joining us, reading through all of these scales, and yes, it was a very good study.